everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well. We just we're about to leave the skate park here in Bernalillo. It got cold. Once the sun started going down, it just got really cold. I sat out on the table for a little bit. I did some filming out there, not too much, but a little filming. So yeah, I'm ready to go. It's cold. So I've been reading the Codependent No More. I don't know what the last thing I shared. I think I did share some on the Detachment one. But I'm not even sure because it's been a while. And actually I think what happened is those videos are over on the old SD card, which is now out of my phone, and I don't even remember what exactly I shared then. So I'm just going to kind of go over a little bit of the things that stood out to me in the Detachment chapter. So there's a quote here from an Al-Anon member. It says, "It, which is detachment, is not detaching from the person whom we care about, but from the agony of involvement." And it does feel like you're just being mean, you're being awful, you're being unloving, unfair, whatever it is when you detach yourself from a situation. But we need our peace too, right? We need peace. We need to realize that we are not the savior for other people. We are not the one to fix them. It's not our job. In here, something I underlined is she says, "I chose detachment not because it is significantly more important than the other concepts. I selected it because it is an underlying concept." Excuse me. "It is something we need to do frequently as we strive to live happy lives. It is the goal of most recovery programs for codependents." Later on in that same little section, she says, "We cannot begin to work on ourselves, to live our own lives, feel our own feelings, and solve our own problems until we have detached from the object of our obsession." And this is from my experiences and those of others. "It appears that even our higher power can't do much with us until we have detached." And that is true, because for the longest time, when I just sat worrying about other people and trying to fix everything for everyone else, trying to force them to give their lives to God, or to change behaviors, whatever it was, or even just to do anything in my power in how I was acting, how I was behaving with them to make them happy. And so a lot of it was just being, not that I was being fake, so to speak, but in a way it was, because you're holding back. There's a mosquito. Yeah, that's insane. You're holding back some of the things that maybe you should say, or you're kind of being what is the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I can't think of the word, but where you're kind of allowing their behavior to continue because you're trying so hard to be somebody they need in that situation they have themselves in. And so they never are left to fall on their face and make decisions to get out. You're kind of like they're trying to catch them at every turn, every time they fail, every time they fall. And yes, as family, friends, and stuff, we should be there for each other, but we can't be everybody's soft landing all the time. We just can't. We're not built for that. That's God's job. And until we allow them to experience whatever it is that they need to experience, that whole 2x4 in the forehead, if that whole hit a brick wall, whatever it is that moment that's going to bring them to their knees in front of the Lord. If we are the soft landing every single time, we're there to catch them, we're there to talk to them, we're there, or not talk to them, but maybe do things for them and keep them happy, we're not going to allow them to face the thing they need to face. And because of that, we don't do it either. It's like we're kind of creating someone of ourselves that we aren't even. This isn't who we're supposed to be. Here is something that she says about attachment. Attachment is becoming overly involved, sometimes hopelessly entangled. So like she gives some ways, I guess, that we could see when we're attached. So excessively worried about or preoccupied with a problem or a person. So that's where our mental energy is attached. And then sometimes becoming obsessed with and controlling of the people and the problems in our environment. So here is mental, physical, and emotional energy is directed at the object of our obsession, whether that's a person or a situation. We become reactionaries. So here I underlined, instead of acting authentically of our own volition. So once again, it's mental, emotional, and physical energy that we're using towards this. Then the next one is become emotionally dependent on the people around us. And it's interesting because our emotions are dependent on theirs. Our emotions are dependent on what they do, dependent on how they're feeling, how, whatever it is that we're worried about, that we're trying to fix for them. So if they're not feeling good, then we're not feeling good. If they're angry, we're angry. If they're hurt, we're hurt. It's kind of like we become mirror images of them, even though we aren't. Let's say, like, for instance, these are things that they use in Alcoholics Anonymous and Al-Anon and all of, any type of addiction, like behavior. We may not be addicts to a substance, but we are becoming addicts to being this soft landing for people, this fixer of things, this caretaker, this whatever it is that we are needed, that we think we are needed to be. That's the word I was looking for a while ago. We're enabling them, because she says here we may become caretakers or rescuers or enablers, because their need for us, that we believe they need us, and maybe sometimes they do, but it becomes a problem. We become dependent on that. Like, if we're not needed, then we have no purpose. And that is scary. And I notice that when I have a purpose, when someone needs me, like to do things for them or to be there or whatever, I feel like I have a purpose, right? And then once that changes, once that ends, I'm like, it's almost like I fall into the depths of despair. Like, depression hits hard. And it's almost like, now what do I do with myself? What am I supposed to do? How can I do it? How can I live without being this person to, the person everybody needs? It's like the obsession, I guess, with being needed, with feeling like we're being productive, feeling like we're doing something of value when we are being everything to everyone, it really becomes an addiction. And so we're in no position really to do what we're saying we're doing, because we're becoming just as addicted to the feeling of being needed, right? And so I think this is why a lot of codependents become crazy. They burst out in like these angry outbursts, right? Or they are really, crying fits, whatever it is, because we become so overwhelmed and so overstimulated and so just, I guess it's like we don't know what to do anymore. We're trying everything. We think there's still more, that maybe if we try this, maybe if we try that. So we're just like completely and totally taken by the object of our obsession, whether it's a it's just one person or if it's multiple people, multiple situations, whatever it is. And like here, it talks about where in chapter 1, in this chapter, she's going to be focusing on worry and obsession. Later on, she'll go over some of the other things, right? And one thing that we got to understand, and I mean, this is biblical. He tells us not to worry. Like, we cannot add any days to our lives. In fact, I think we take some away, or at least whether we shorten our lives or not, we shorten the moments of joy because we're so filled with worry and stress and trying to do things that are out of our control. And here she says, worrying about people and problems doesn't help. It doesn't solve problems, and it doesn't help other people, and it doesn't help us. It is wasted energy. And that is so true. I think we need to realize that how when we just sit there and we worry about everything and everyone, that, things that are going on around us in their lives and whatever. Oh, they didn't text me back. Oh, they didn't answer their phone. What if they're mad at me? What if they're this? And what's going on? And is she okay? Is he okay? And why don't they want to talk to me anymore? Or whatever it is, right? And you just give it to God. That's the answer. But that's the last resort we always take. And it's because it's hard. Because we're human and we want to know why. And it's like that 2-year-old that's always asking their dad and mom why. But why? But why? But why? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And it's like, it's that same repetitive thing that we're doing because of our worry and our this need to be needed. This need to be a fixer of things and whatever, and involved in the lives of those that we love, and wanting to know, well, if what we did worked and all this stuff. And we're just like, all we can do is be there as a listening ear. We can pray for them. We can give them the best advice that we know how to give. But we cannot change them. We cannot save them. We cannot fix them. And worrying is just going to cause more issues for us and them too, because earlier in the chapter when she says we become enablers, and so they're just going to continuously do what they're doing because we just keep catching them. We just keep fixing things for them, and whatever that is, whether that's giving them money, whether that's giving them the thing that they need, or being picking up the pieces all the time. And it's one thing to be there for people and help them, but sometimes we need to let them do for themselves too. Just like I have to do for myself and you have to do for yourself. We can be there for each other and we can help each other, but not at the detriment of our own lives. And I think that's something that we need to understand if you struggle with codependency. I never thought I did. I thought that my life was just, the things that I was doing was just because I loved people and I just wanted to be helpful, because that was my gift from the Lord. And yes, maybe it is partially, and I think there are a lot of people out there that have that gift of being a helper, but we have to know when to draw the line. We have to know when we are crossing over into trying to become God to these people. And we need to tread lightly, and we need to surrender every single situation to the Lord. So yeah, that was just a little bit of this chapter. I mean, that was just literally not even 2 full pages of some of the stuff that stood out to me. And every time I read books like this, self-help books and stuff like that, I know not all of them are Christian. And I mean, unless they are really outright evil and all of that, I can, go through it and learn something from it. But I always try to take it back to the Lord, to where what they're sharing here, where he's already shared in the Bible. Because every single book that has been written, fiction, even nonfiction, every single movie that you've ever seen, every single TV show that you've ever watched, everything under the sun, it's already in the Bible. I mean, think about all the great sage advice that you heard over the years. Every dicho and proverb that you've heard from your grandparents, your aunts, your ancestors of any sort, like just over the years, all of these wise sayings come around, right? But if you go back, read the book of Proverbs, they're all there. They're just said differently by different people, but they're all right there. Where do they come from? Morals can only come from one place, and that's from the Lord. In and of ourselves, we are not good. I mean, overall, like each one of us might be a little better than the other in how we act. But I mean, if you really think about the thoughts that we have every single day and where those thoughts could take us, we're not that far from being evil, being bad, being mean, being whatever it is. We're not that far from it. We have to take everything captive under the Lord. And, you know, if in all of these things that I read and that I share, that's what I want the message to be. Not just what I'm learning from here, what's helping me to change the way I see things, the way I live my life, to lessen my stress, lessen my worry and all of that, but also to share how this all ties back to the Lord, because he's ultimately the only one that can help me with anything and help you with anything and anyone else. He's the only one that can offer us the hope that we need, the grace that we need, the mercy that we need, the forgiveness that we need, and the life that we need. And that salvation that we absolutely 100% need for eternal life. That's it. That's all that matters. Our relationship with the Lord, our salvation. Everything else is just striving after the wind. So I hope that something I shared today has blessed you. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have ever read this book before, if you struggle with codependency, or if you struggled in the past, how you healed from that and how you overcame those things. And if you need any prayers, leave those also in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you. Bye. I have to sit with these two to eat. Well, so they could eat. They're adorable. Let's see if I can show you the rest of the night sky. I have the flash on so it gets a little brighter, but clear skies, and it's not that cold right now.